All right, guys. In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about, welcome back to Finstock, guys. I'm going to go ahead and talk about a preview of the offensive line, the projected offensive line for the Miami Dolphins in 2025, and give you a quick update on Jonah Tagovailoa and why he has yet to sign with the Dolphins. Let me go ahead and read you an article in regards to the preview, and we'll go from there. Give me a second. While I open this article, guys, keep in mind the rookies. When you see this, the rookies start today, Tuesday, July 15th. They have to report to training camp. So hopefully Jonah will be there and not hold out. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And the vets report in a week. Dolphins 2025 training camp preview. Offensive line. The Miami Dolphins offense looks a lot different than it did at the start of last season. Here's a breakdown of where the room stands. The Miami Dolphins were a major disappointment in 2024. The team missed the playoffs for the first time under head coach Mike McDaniel and took a step back in almost every way. However, the new season brings new hope. The Dolphins had a different offseason than in the past, as they mostly stayed away from adding big names and instead of focused on adding to positions they had neglected in the past: guard, defensive tackle, and linebacker. We won't know whether Miami's strategy will work until the season begins, but we do know the next step in the process is on July 22nd, when veterans report for training camp. This is the fifth part of our written position-by-position training camp preview for the 2025 season. Each story will list out every player on the Dolphins roster. I'll be doing the other previews also, guys. Let's dive into the Dolphins offensive line. Aaron Brewer, outlook. Brewer is one of just two returning starters from week 1 of last season to hold on to a spot for a good reason. After coming over from the Titans in free agency last season, Brewer had the best year of his career in Miami. He's a perfect fit for the Dolphins offense that prioritizes athletic ability over traits and has improved his pass protection tenfold. Brewer will be playing around bigger, stronger players this season, which will hopefully lead to more push in the middle of the line. If Brewer can prove 2024 just wasn't a flash in the pan, the Dolphins might be set at center for the next few seasons. Austin Jackson. Jackson is another returning starter from last season, but is coming off season-ending knee injury suffered against Buffalo. After a rocky start to his career, Jackson turned himself into a solid starting right tackle who excels in the running game. Last year, he was Miami's most powerful run blocker, and there was a clear drop in the team's running game effectiveness after his injury. Jackson is still inconsistent pass protector, and he's suffered two season-ending injuries in the last 3 years. However, pairing him up with the team's improved guards could lead to a much more powerful rushing attack in 2025. Patrick Paul. There's a fair argument that no Dolphin player will be under more pressure this season than Patrick Paul. He's taking over for left tackle for Armstead after playing 384 snaps and making 3 starts last season. The Dolphins selected Paul in the 2024 draft, knowing Armstead would likely retire soon. That's great thinking ahead by the front office. But Paul was a pretty big project coming out of Houston. He showed signs of growth last year, but it's a significant jump for him to become the team's unquestioned starter at left tackle. There are reasons of optimism, but Paul holding his own. He's got the natural talent, but it's more of an unknown than anything right now. James Daniels. Daniels is one of the newcomers expected to start this season, as Miami is hoping the veteran can solve the team's long guard problem. He's coming off a torn Achilles, but Daniels was a reliable starter for the Bears and Steelers. Daniels' consistent presence is something the Dolphins missed in the middle of the line last season. Nothing on his tape will wow you, but he can create movement in the running game and is stout pass protector. If Daniels is healthy, he will likely be one of the team's most significant upgrades. Jonah Savaiinaea is one of the new starting guards the Dolphins added this offseason, as the team traded up in the second round of this year's draft to select the Arizona product. Savaiinaea is a physical run blocker with above-average movement skills for his size. The combination should allow him to create a push in the middle while still properly executing the Dolphins' outside zone scheme. The question will be how Savaiinaea adapts to returning to guard. He played some guard in college, but was mostly tackle last year. His pass protection struggles at Arizona were mostly a product of him needing to play on the interior, so given enough time, he should settle down nicely at guard. Liam Eichenberg. The Dolphins made a very unpopular decision of re-signing Liam Eichenberg this offseason. However, after a few years of underwhelming play from the former second-round pick, the team did push him considerably down the depth chart. As much as fans hate on Eichenberg, he does provide some value as a backup, and he played every position up front, and he knows the scheme incredibly well. Eichenberg will likely be the team's primary backup on the interior, but he'll have some competition for that spot. Larry Broom. Broom was a free agent acquisition from the Bears this offseason and brings an interesting profile. He struggled at tackle for the Bears in recent years, but his guard tape from a few years ago is intriguing. Broom is a good mover, with size and physicality. Yet the Dolphins' additions up front with the skill set. If the Dolphins want to keep Broom at tackle, he'll likely be the team's primary backup for Paul and Jackson. A potential move inside the guard would benefit him, but the team has several backup interior options and a lot fewer backup tackles options with NFL experience. Andrew Mayer. Mayer is one of the more interesting names to pay attention to this summer. He was a UDFA last offseason. The team kept him on the 53-man roster throughout the entire season. While that does not seem like much, it's an investment in a player who could have easily taken a spot on the practice squad at some point. Mayer should compete with Eichenberg for a backup interior spot. Keon Smith. Smith missed all of last season with the torn ACL he suffered in the preseason. It was a tough break for a player who was having a strong camp. Smith's profile is at the NFL caliber tackle. He's got the size, athletic ability to hold up on the outside, which does make him an appealing backup option for the team lacking tackle depth. He'll have to prove himself. He has to stay healthy and still getting better, but don't count out Smith making the final roster. Jackson Carman. The Dolphins signed Carman to the practice squad last September, and he mostly bounced back and forth between there and the roster last season. However, he didn't make one start against Houston, and it did not go well. Teams need depth linemen during training camp, and Carman at least knows the system. It's not impossible for him to make the final roster, but it would say it's pretty unlikely at this stage. Ryan Hayes. Hayes was the 7th round pick, the 2023 draft. Made the NFL debut last season, playing in just one game. The Dolphins have made an effort to keep him around on the practice squad, including re-signing him after a brief tenure with the Indianapolis. He'll be competing for one of the backup team's backup tackle spots, although it's hard to imagine him sticking around on the final roster. Baron Matos. Matos is one of the interesting players on the Dolphins roster. He's a part of the NFL's International Pathway Program, so he does not count against the 90-man roster now, and he won't count against the team's practice squad limit. Basically, the Dolphins can keep him around for free if they want. He's got tools to be an NFL caliber lineman, but his development curve is steep. Braden Daniels. Daniels has played for 6 teams since 2023, and the Dolphins signed him off the Cowboys practice squad in January. He's one of the many linemen who will be looking to get a practice squad spot. Teddy Cush. Cush was signed as a UDFA following this year's draft. He started 10 games at tackle for Western Kentucky this past season and has good NFL size. At 6'7", 305 pounds. If he sticks around, it'll likely be the practice squad. Josh Prevey, another 2025 UDFA signing. Prevey is an experienced guard who started 42 games across 4 seasons at Northwestern and 1 at Michigan. He's another player who will likely be hunting for a practice squad spot. Addison West. West is the last 2025 UDFA signing, and he played with Cush at Western Michigan last season. He was a 3-year starter for Western Michigan and was an all-conference player. Like the other UDFAs, West's best path to sticking with Miami will be via the practice squad. Okay, guys, I'm going to also read to you, just so you guys have an idea, and I'm going to pop this up. The starters: Patrick Paul, James Daniels, Aaron Brewer, Jonah Savaianaya, Austin Jackson. Backup depth as of now: Ryan Hayes, Jackson Carman, Andrew Meyer, Leland Meichenberg, Larry Broom. Third stringers: Keon Smith, Josh Prevey, Addison West, Brandon Daniels, Teddy Kushner, and Ryan Matos. Cush and Ryan Matos might not make the team. The third stringers, some of them may be on the practice squad, and the backups will be the backups. Ryan Hayes, I don't know if he'll make it. I expect at least Andrew Mayer and Leland Eichenberg and Larry Broom to be part of the backups. I don't know if Jackson Carman will make it and Ryan Hayes will make it. We'll see what happens. But I'll pop this up so you have an idea in the video. All right, guys. A quick update on what's going on with not only Jonah Savaianaya, but the other second rounders. The Cincinnati Bengals standoff with this year's number 17 overall pick. Former Texas A&M Shermer Stewart is well documented. A dispute over contract language regarding the voiding of his salary guarantees took center stage last month, while Stewart sat out and left the Bengals mandatory minicamp. He's not the only recent draftee with a contract hang-up. Notably, there are 30 second rounders still unsigned by their respective teams, including Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver Trey Harris. Ole Miss product was due to report to training camp Saturday with other Charger rookies in El Segundo, California. As of Saturday evening, Harris has yet to report, making him the first official holdout of the group. The deadline for the Chargers rookies to report upon us, the second round wide receiver Trey Harris, is officially a holdout, sources say. With 30 of 32 teams, second round picks unsigned because of a disagreement over guaranteed money, Harris makes the first official stand. Harris' team told Front Office Sports that their negotiations continue with the Chargers and that their wideout won't report to camp until he signed a deal. The second round wide receiver signing delay resulted after the first 2 players taken in the second round received unprecedented, fully guaranteed contracts in May. The Houston Texans turned heads by giving former Iowa State wide receiver Jaden Higgins, the second round pick of this year's second round, a fully guaranteed deal on the eve of Texans minicamp. Higgins became the first second round pick in NFL history to sign a fully guaranteed contract. The next day, UCLA turned Cleveland Brown linebacker Carson Schwenger got the same kind of contract. Schwenger was the first pick of the second round. In the 2 months plus since, the 30 other second round picks haven't budged, reportedly searching for full guaranteed compensation as well. CBS Sports reported last month that the number 40 pick quarterback Tyler Shuck, and his representation have also played the role in the second round signing coming to a screeching halt. At the time, CBS reported that Shuck, a 25-year-old prospect who landed with the New Orleans Saints, was pushing for a fully guaranteed rookie deal, in part because he's in line to start for the Saints following the surprise retirement of veteran Derek Carr. The Chargers' rookie report date has already arrived. Others are fast approaching. Rookies on Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, New York Giants, and Baltimore Ravens, and Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco 49ers are supposed to report by July 23. All NFL players are expected in training camp, thanks to the 2011 collective bargaining agreement instituting that rookie wage scale. Rookie holdouts are rare nowadays, but they're not unheard of. Defensive end Joey Bosa and linebacker Roquan Smith both took that route after they were drafted in 2016 and 2018 respectively, and their contract negotiations led into training camp. All right, guys, if the Dolphins believe that Jonah is going to be as good as they believed when they drafted him because they moved up into the second round to draft Jonah, I'm fine if they give him a full contract, a full guaranteed contract as a second round pick. Leave me your thoughts down below, what you think of the Jonah situation and what you think of the offensive line. Do you think we're good in offensive line, or do we need more depth at the offensive line? My answer to that question is yes, we need more depth because we have no experienced depth except for Eichenberg and Broom, which are subpar players in my opinion. Besides that, you got a bunch of UDFAs. Leave me your thoughts down below. And like always, fins up and stay positive, stay on your grind, and go Dolphins.